Hello guys and welcome back on our YouTube channel. Nowadays, the expression of sexual minorities is an issue in the life of the society. Their manifestation become current and necessarily the phenomenon of emancipation reaches the universe of series. According to a Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation survey, the industry requires a minimum of 10% of key characters from the LGBTQ+ community to reflect our world and our current society. On this part, we'll talk about the period from 80s to 2010 and the first appearance under representation, then over-exploitation. The first appearance is shy and clumsy but present. Indeed, we cannot deny that the appearance of characters representing sexual minorities was only late. It's only at the dawn of the 90s that the first gay characters appear, as in Friends with the lesbian couple Carol Willick and Susan Bunch. In the following decades, more and more minorities are exposed, including sexual minorities. Being gay with, for example, Andrew's Siderkick in Desperate Housewives, with the reaction of his pious Protestant Christian mother, who is put off from seeing his gay son. There's also one of the first transgender characters in 2001 in the series Friends, Helena Handbasket, but it's only a secondary character. Or the bisexual community in the Oz series, the main character Tobias Beecher and the other characters being gay. But at what price? Now we'll talk about cliches, bad representations and empty characters. Indeed, more than 20 years, the series industry has exploited the LGBTQ+ cause. The words are strong but reflect the reality. During this long period, many series have introduced characters with minority sexual preferences to probably follow the general movement of democratization of differences. Most of the time, we show his sexuality in an episode or two by bringing more importance to their character, then in the other episode, then we forget it. But overall, the evolution between silence and overexposure served no purpose. In the case of sexual minorities, there is undeniably a growing exposure, but as a pretext, and that doesn't deceive anyone. In many series, the characters saddled of particular sexual orientation are today characterized by the gay in OIT and B lesbians, Kurt in Glee is all this the start of the series gay series. Democratization at what price when the sexuality of a character represents its quite unique trait. In most of our beautiful series in representative character, because it's the goal of the LGBTQ+ community, is systematically erected as an emblem of representativeness. But it often represents only pale cliches of a reality obviously not enough fantasy for the scenarios. Even if we introduced a character from the LGBTQ+ community, it was very often gay white men or lesbian white women. The already weak presence of heterosexual ethnic minorities is accentuated when looking for LGBTQ people. Until recent years, when the rather positive evolution are much more palpable. On the second part, we will talk about the period from the end of 2000s years to now, more natural representation by going towards the homogeneous representation. With the expansion of diversification of TV series, thanks to Netflix production, Amazon's, we can expect then the growth of them, which started several years ago, have finally found this way. Now we can distinguish the emergence of real characters out of usual narrations. More elaborate and more realistic. We can note that according to an investigation of GLAAD, 8.8% of series characters are part of the LGBTQ community against 4% in 2012. We have also on the 2018 and 2019 season identified 26 transgender characters on all the platforms. But above all, GLAAD has included for the first time an asexual character without any sexual affinity on their report, Rafael Santiago in Shadowhunter. Therefore, starting from censorship of sexual minority, passing by their overexposure to the price of their integrity, it would seem that the series industry goes to a refinement of characters and a return to reality. Minorities having asserted themselves with times, their representation are very important for them, especially for young people, where the lack of representation in addition to homophobia only reduces their self-confidence. The suicide rate among young LGBTQ people is important because of homophobia, so teen and young adult can identify themselves with strong characters and main LGBTQ characters. Series like Sense8 were Nomai, where Nomai is transsexual, the actress in Transsexual 2. Lito, who is a gay Spanish man, or on the series, the 100 Clark is bisexual, and the main character, a badass woman. There are even series who all the main characters are queer, like Queer as Folk, a series that tells the story of 5 guys. This evolution of mentalities has also reached the old series that still exist today or have long periods of diffusions. Thus, their character belittled to simple cliches, or the fact that it presents heterosexual people see virtually all white evolved and improved the characters to be more homogeneous in the presence of minorities. Also, on a recent season of Grey's Anatomy, a lot of LGBTQ characters have arrived. Even if they are unfortunately not main characters, we can see an expansion of LGBTQ characters like Leah Murphy, who is bisexual, Cassie Parker, the first transgender character, or Nico Kim, who is gay and Asiatic or multiracial. We don't really know who he is because he's a new character. There was already LGBTQ characters like Arizona and Callie, the mythical couple of the series. On this last part, we'll talk about the future. We can expect more than main LGBTQ characters and more minorities who were part of the LGBTQ community. We have also raised the problem of the lack of representation of people of colours in the LGBTQ communities in the series. Indeed, most of the community is basically represented by white people, many gay white men. But in recent years, we have seen a clear improvement in the representation of minorities. According to GLAAD, on the 2008-2019 season, out of 857 television broadcast series, 44% of the LGBTQ people are people of colour, whereas this figure was only 22% for the 2012-2013 season. Of this percentage, 22% of black people are recurrent, about 45% are Latino, and 6% are multiracial or others. In these emblematic characters, we cannot forget Jamal Lyon in Empire, main character, Ray Holt in Brooklyn 99, Lionel in Dear White People, Tony in Riverdale, Sophie in Orange is the New Black, or Annalise in How to Get Away with Murder. For Latinos, there's Lito of Sense8, Callie in Grey's Anatomy, Santana in Glee, or Justin in Ugly Betty. For the Asian Pacific Islander character are 8%, of which Nico and Marvel's Runaway and Magnus Bane in Jade Wunter. For them, since 2012, the percentage to double, which shows a growing representation for this minority, even if it's still much too low. Even if these numbers are still low, we can see a real improvement that increases with the years. Thus, future generations belonging to all these minorities will be able to find themselves in various and varied characters and not necessarily a pure cliches. The real question behind this is if this evolution is initiated by society or if It's this evolution that brings mindsets to question the problem of the cliché transmitted in the American series at the time of the international influence of this culture is a real stake. The appearance of this community is primordial for the people belonging to this minority. As for all the minorities, we need more diversities and more representation so that everyone is found in the characters that we are associated. To also forget these clichés and so that we find our current society in our cinematographic environment.